Harrison Ford was born on July 13, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up far away from the fancy movie world. His dad, Christopher Ford, worked in advertising and used to be an actor. His mom, Dorothy, used to work on radio shows. Even though his parents had been in entertainment, young Harrison was quiet and shy. He liked figuring things out on his own more than being in the spotlight. These early years helped make him the down-to-earth, no-nonsense person he would become in an industry that's often all about showing off. Ford went to Ripon College in Wisconsin, where he first studied philosophy. Funny enough, he took a drama class not because he wanted to be an actor, but just to help with his shyness. What started as a simple way to improve himself quietly planted the seeds for a future that would change movie history forever. After college, he moved to Los Angeles in the mid-1960s hoping to act. He signed a deal with Columbia Pictures. Like lots of wannabe actors, his first few years were full of letdowns and people saying no. He kept getting the same boring roles, got turned down a lot, or just ignored. The movie studio system back then didn't give him much hope at all. Frustrated with all the limits on what he could do, Ford stopped acting for a while and became a carpenter instead. This job not only helped him support his growing family, but also kept him humble during those uncertain years. That time of struggling would turn out to be super important to the kind of man and actor he became. Ford's working-class toughness, humility, and strong work habits made his later acting feel real and believable. Luck stepped in when his carpentry work brought him face-to-face with powerful people in Hollywood, including George Lucas. Ford had been in Lucas's earlier movie, American Graffiti, for a short time in 1973. But it was his tough guy charm, quiet sense of humor, and natural way of being that finally got him the part of Han Solo in Star Wars in 1977. The movie became a huge cultural sensation, and Ford went from being an unknown carpenter to a worldwide star almost overnight. Han Solo was different from any science fiction hero people had seen before. He was imperfect, sarcastic, didn't want to be a hero, and felt deeply human. Ford's acting brought cleverness, coolness, and real emotion to the character, making Han Solo one of the most loved characters in movie history. But Ford didn't let himself get stuck with just that one success. He followed Star Wars with roles that showed he could do many different things, especially as Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981. The character of Indiana Jones mixed smarts, weakness, humor, and physical bravery all together, totally changing the adventure movie genre and making Ford a guaranteed box office hit. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Harrison Ford ruled Hollywood in a way very few actors ever have. He starred in award-winning serious movies like Witness in 1985, which got him nominated for an Academy Award, and The Mosquito Coast in 1986, showing he could play complicated characters dealing with tough moral choices. Movies like Blade Runner in 1982 showed a darker, more thoughtful side of his talent. His performance as Rick Deckard explored big ideas about identity, what makes us human, and memory. Over time, Blade Runner became one of the most important science fiction films ever made, with Ford's performance at its emotional heart. Beyond roles that defined whole genres, Ford became known for playing smart, honorable authority figures in films like Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, and Air Force One. His characters often showed quiet honesty, men who did things not because of their egos, but because it was the right thing to do. This quality really connected with audiences, making Ford not just a movie star, but a symbol of trust, strength, and doing what's right. Despite his incredible fame, Harrison Ford has stayed surprisingly private and down-to-earth. He has always avoided celebrity culture, choosing instead to focus on family, craftsmanship, and personal hobbies like flying airplanes. An experienced pilot, Ford's love of flying shows his lifelong desire for freedom and being his own boss. He has also been deeply dedicated to helping the environment, serving as vice chair of Conservation International and using his fame to speak up for protecting the planet. In the later parts of his career, Ford kept coming back to and reimagining his most famous roles, bringing wisdom and deeper feelings to characters that grew older alongside him. Films like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and Blade Runner 2049 let audiences see not just legendary heroes, but older men shaped by time, loss, and life experience. These performances added serious depth to characters once known for youthful confidence, reinforcing Ford's belief that storytelling should show life's complexity rather than hide from it. In February 2025, Ford starred alongside Anthony Mackie, the new Captain America, as Thaddeus Ross in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Captain America: Brave New World, taking over the role after William Hurt passed away. That same month, he brought attention to an ongoing strike by video game actors when he voiced support for Troy Baker, who was playing the role of Indiana Jones in the video game Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, speaking out against the use of artificial intelligence. Harrison Ford's life away from the camera has been just as full, layered, and meaningful as the iconic roles that made him one of the longest-lasting stars in Hollywood. At the center of that private world has always been his family, a source of stability and consistency through decades of fame, creative change, and personal growth. Ford became a dad for the first time during his marriage to Mary Marquardt, his college girlfriend and first wife. Their marriage, which started long before Ford became internationally famous, was built on the struggles and dreams of two young people figuring out life together. During this time, Ford was still working all kinds of jobs, including carpentry, to support his growing family while trying to get acting roles on the edges of the film industry. From this marriage came his first two sons, Benjamin and Willard, both of whom grew up mostly away from the Hollywood spotlight. Benjamin Ford ended up making a life totally different from acting, choosing instead to follow his own passions. He became a chef and restaurateur, earning respect in the cooking world on his own skills rather than using his father's famous name. Willard Ford also went his own way, focusing on business projects and personal interests. Ford has often talked about how important it is to let his children figure out who they are on their own, free from the pressure of being celebrities, and his relationship with his oldest son shows that belief. Ford started a new chapter of being a dad during his second marriage to acclaimed screenwriter Melissa Matheson, which was a creative partnership as well as a deeply loving relationship. Matheson, best known for writing E.T. the Extraterrestrial, shared Ford's artistic interests and love of learning, and together they created a home that mixed storytelling, imagination, and family life. From this marriage came two more children, Malcolm and Georgia. Malcolm Ford grew up surrounded by music and creativity, eventually becoming both a musician and an actor. He has performed in bands and appeared in film projects, often choosing work that shows his personal artistic interests rather than chasing mainstream fame. Georgia Ford, on the other hand, followed a path more like her father's job, establishing herself as an actress. She has appeared in films and TV shows while also talking openly about her own challenges and victories, showing resilience and independence. As a father, Ford has been known to be deeply supportive but not pushy, encouraging his children to live meaningful lives rather than chasing fame. Later in life, Ford found lasting companionship with actress Callista Flockhart, whom he married in 2010. Their relationship marked a time of renewed stability and happiness, with both partners balancing successful careers while making family a priority. Together they adopted a son, Liam, whom Ford has raised with the same quiet devotion that has defined his approach to fatherhood throughout his life. Despite becoming a father again later in life, Ford embraced the role wholeheartedly, often describing parenting as a lifelong responsibility rather than something that ever truly ends. Today, Ford is also a proud grandfather with 3 grandchildren, a role that has added yet another layer to his family life. Though he keeps these relationships mostly private, people close to him have said that becoming a grandfather has brought him deep joy and perspective, strengthening his belief in family as the most lasting legacy of all. Across decades of marriages, career highs, and personal change, Harrison Ford's identity as a father and family man has stayed constant. While the world knows him as Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and countless other iconic characters, those closest to him know a man whose greatest pride comes not from box office money or awards, but from the lives of the children and grandchildren who carry his story forward. At 83, Harrison Ford has reached a point in life and career where he doesn't feel the need to soften his words or hide behind Hollywood politeness. With more than 6 decades in the industry, Ford has seen trends come and go, stars shine bright and fade away, and legends secure their place in movie history. When he speaks now, he does so with the calm confidence of someone who has nothing left to prove. It is in this thoughtful phase of his life that Ford has finally spoken honestly about Helen Mirren, an actress he has long admired, respected, and quietly held in the highest regard. Ford has never been one for over-the-top praise or big speeches. Known for his blunt honesty and understated way of being, he picks his words carefully. But when Helen Mirren's name comes up, there is a noticeable change in his tone. "Helen is the real thing," Ford has said. "There's no pretense with her. What you see is exactly who she is, and that's rare in this business." Coming from an actor often described as guarded and private, this simple statement means a lot. What Ford seems to admire most about Mirren is her fearlessness, both as an artist and as a woman navigating Hollywood on her own terms. "She never chased approval," he once said. "She chased the work, and because of that, the approval followed." Ford, who himself took an unusual path to stardom, working as a carpenter well into adulthood before his breakout roles, sees in Mirren a kindred spirit. Both actors refused to be limited by expectations, age, or trends, and both built careers defined by lasting power rather than quick fame. Ford has also talked about Mirren's extraordinary discipline and intelligence. "She's sharp," he said. "Not just smart in the casual way people mean it, but deeply intelligent about human behavior, about history, about storytelling." He has pointed out that Mirren brings an almost scholarly level of preparation to her roles, whether she is playing royalty, a detective, or an ordinary woman facing extraordinary situations. To Ford, this seriousness of purpose sets Mirren apart from many other actors. "She respects the audience," he explained. "She doesn't take shortcuts and she doesn't assume people are stupid." Another truth Ford has finally acknowledged is how Mirren has changed what it means to get older in Hollywood. In an industry obsessed with youth, Mirren has stayed visible, powerful, and relevant well into her later years. Ford has expressed admiration for this, especially as he himself continues to work into his 80s. "Helen didn't disappear," he said. "She expanded. She showed that getting older doesn't mean getting smaller." For Ford, this is not just a professional observation, but a personal one, reflecting his own determination to stay engaged, creative, and present. Ford has also talked about Mirren's authenticity off-screen, something he values deeply. "There's no artifice with her," he noted. "She doesn't pretend to be something she's not, and she doesn't apologize for who she is." In a world where celebrity images are often carefully managed, Ford finds Mirren's honesty refreshing. He has said that she carries herself with a confidence that comes not from ego but from self-knowledge earned over time. Perhaps the most revealing truth Ford has shared is his belief that Mirren represents the best of what acting can be. "She reminds you why this work matters," he said. "When you watch her, you're not watching someone perform. You're watching someone tell the truth." For an actor who has built his own legacy on grounded human performances, this is the highest compliment he can give. At 83, Harrison Ford's words about Helen Mirren are not exaggerated tributes or nostalgic memories. They are measured, honest, and deeply felt, spoken by a man who understands greatness because he has lived alongside it. In finally telling the truth about Helen Mirren, Ford reveals not only his respect for a fellow legend, but also his lasting belief in integrity, craft, and the quiet power of authenticity.